coming to you live from the MediaPlex in downtown Windsor. This is a presentation of St. Clair College Journalism.
It's Friday, it's 10 a.m., and we're live. Welcome to Friday Live at the MediaPlex. First, the news. Caesars Windsor is officially on strike with 2,300 workers off the job. The strike was voted for by 59% of its Unifor members. Unifor Local 444 President James Stewart told CBC News that financial frustrations was the result of the tentative deal not being ratified. Caesars is apologizing to customers for the inconvenience. Last Friday was Good Friday, and Xander Kelly was at Malden Park to observe the Easter egg hunt for dogs.
The Easter egg hunt for dogs was held last Friday, Good Friday, at Malden Park. This is the 20th anniversary of the event, which raises money towards the National Service Dogs training of new service and therapy dogs. Ward 3 councillor and Liberal Party nominee Reno Borderland says that he has attended the event for the past 5 years.
Our dog Ollie comes along. The kids take him up and down the mountain looking for the Easter egg, so it's a good way to spend an early morning on a Friday.
Borderland also said that the event is just as important as it is fun.
It's a great fundraiser for, sometimes we don't think about what it means for certain families who need the service dog services. So, these dogs aren't born this way. It takes a lot of time and energy and effort to actually breed and teach the dogs and teach the service dogs to become service dogs.
The egg hunt only lasted about a half an hour before all the eggs were collected, leaving the dogs, owners, and reporters well exercised. For MediaPlex News, I'm Xander Kelly.
Last Saturday, Veterans Support held its first Trans Day of Visibility. Alyssa Horrobin has the story.
Windsor celebrated its first Transgender Day of Visibility on March 31st with a coffee house and open mic night. This day has been recognized by the trans community internationally since 2010. Although just recently formed as a non-profit organization in Windsor, members of We Trans Support believe the trans community is stronger in this area than anywhere in Southern Ontario.
You know, it's really Windsor is the only place in this area. I think you would have to go to the GTA to find something similar. I think that's why it's so unique what We Trans is and does for this community. So it's not just a Windsor thing, it's a regional thing for this whole area.
Nick Cook has been a member of We Trans for about 3 months. He hasn't had the most positive experiences in Windsor and says the area is not very LGBTQ friendly. But he still chooses to make Windsor his home because of the support We Trans offers.
My most positive experiences and reasons for staying in Windsor is coming here and connecting with other trans people for actually the first time.
It's just about creating community and a safe space for us to get together and relate with each other.
We Trans hopes to keep growing their community by moving into their own building right here at the end of April. For MediaPlex News, I'm Alyssa Horrobin.
The Diggs unit from Windsor learned that a man was possibly in possession of a firearm. A sawed-off shotgun was found after a home on Bliss Road in Windsor was searched on Tuesday. Matt Spencer, 29, from Windsor, has been charged with numerous firearm-related charges. Now let's go to Jordan Ferris with our sports report.
Thank you, Barry. The Detroit Tigers season has gotten off to a rough start. The Tigers have already had 3 home games postponed in the first week. And in the games that haven't been canceled, things haven't been much better for the Tigers. They currently hold a record of 2-4 and are in Chicago to face the White Sox in a 5-game series. And from rough starts to perfect endings, last night the Sedin Twins played their final home game of their NHL careers. In overtime, the Sedins worked their magic one last time. 2 minutes into the extra frame, the Canucks were on a power play. With more open ice, Henrik found Daniel, who found the back of the net. After the Canucks celebrated the win, the Sedins shook hands with all the players from Arizona. The final score of the game was 4-3. And the Frozen Four is down to the final 2 after a dying second thriller last night. The game between Notre Dame and Michigan seemed to be headed for overtime, but with 10 seconds left, Notre Dame forward Jake Evans had other thoughts in mind. Going from end to end, Evans snuck the puck under the goalie's pad, giving Notre Dame the lead with 3 seconds left. Notre Dame will go on to play Minnesota Tuthula tomorrow for the national championship. And that's all for your sports this morning. Back to Barry.
Now let's kick it over to weather with Josie Richards.
Thanks, Barry. Today we have a chance of rain showers or flurries and a high of 4. Saturday, we have a mix of sun and cloud and a high of 2. And Sunday, again, a mix of sun and cloud and a high of 3. That's the 3-day forecast. Back to you, Barry.
Today we'll be talking women helping women, delicious local cheese, and young artists, and more. This Friday Live. Rick Mercer made one of his last stops at a local school. Grace Bauer was there.
Students, teachers, and guests gathered in the gym at Holy Names Catholic School for a rally. But what made this gathering so unique was the special guest, who happened to be one of Canada's most famous icons. Rick Mercer's show, The Rick Mercer Report, has been running for over 14 years. After so many successful years, CBC is recording its final episode, making this one of the last schools he ever visits. Mercer has a segment on the show called the Spread the Net Challenge, where high schools earn money for insect nets to help countries suffering from malaria. Holy Names raised over $2,500 for the cause and are still continuing to raise funds. Angela Hormes was one of the student organizers of the event.
This morning, actually, we had everyone bringing in donations of their choice to give to Rick before he leaves our school. So we're still raising till the last minute, pretty much.
In the end, Mercer said he wants to spread awareness of this terrible disease plaguing many countries and hopes that this segment on his show will do just that. For MediaPlex News, I'm Grace Bauer.
Cade Ryan was at the Warden's Lunch to hear from Tom Bain.
Essex County Warden Tom Bain gave his final speech to the audience at the Chicago Club during the 11th Annual Warden's Lunch on March 29th. After 8 years, he is the longest-serving county warden in Ontario. Bain spoke about his accomplishments as warden, future projects such as the widening of Highway 3, and how the jobless rate reduced during his tenure.
Facts of having a 9.4 unemployment rate, the team has worked together on all kinds of things, got together, found out what the needs were, met those needs to the point where now we're 4.9% unemployment rate.
Reporting for MediaPlex News Now, I'm Cade Ryan.
Today is the last day of another Windsor Essex event. Bel Antonio was there.
Music Fest kicks off on the right note. On April 4th to 6th, the Capitol Theater is hosting the Windsor Music Fest, where high school bands will be showcasing their musical talents.
The kids today will come and they'll perform in different categories of bands, jazz bands and choirs, and a group of adjudicators will rate them. Some of them will go on to the Nationals if they choose to. Some will get silver and some will get bronze. All of them will be super proud of the accomplishment that they got today.
I'm Bel Antonio, reporting for MediaPlex News Now.
Last week, the Women's Economic Forum held a Women Helping Women event. Miriam Farag reports.
In honor of International Women's Day, Women's Economic Forum has held an event focusing on women helping women. Janine Draper, board director of Women Economic Forum, said she was happy to see over 30 women who came to be more educated on this topic. 81-year-old Jane Buttery, owner, author, and speaker at True Light Books, was the guest speaker at the event. A recent visit in late October to Uganda showed her the need to help teen girls in Uganda stay in school. They have to pay for their education. Her Ugandan friend Nakunda Hope has developed a program to help them become agents for change. This could be a vital step towards a better life for girls. Buttery also has a new book out, Red Dragon Rising, from 6 to 9 years old. This is her 15th book. It is illustrated by Marilyn McLean and is the myth surrounding the Welsh flag. It is written for younger children with lots of action about a fight between two dragons.
The advice that I gave when I was in Kampala is get an education. It will last you your whole lifetime. Enjoy meeting people because that's what God put us here for, to help each other.
For MediaPlex News, I'm Mariam Farag.
A number of high school students are having their chance to experience life as a professional artist. MD Nurazaman has more.
Gibson Gallery is currently showcasing new student artist artworks. The participating students are from General Amherst and St. Thomas Villanova High School of grade 9 to grade 12 students. This is the 8th annual Artist of the Future, the art exhibition to promote the student artist. There are over 120 participants from these two high schools to display their efforts and skills into the artworks. These young artists use simple drawing, watercolor, collage, installation, metal and wire, sculpture, mixed media and print to express their thoughts and ideas of their expressions. Mayor DeLuca, Students Gallery docent from Gibson Gallery, said,
The point of this exhibition is basically, since the gallery holds a lot of exhibits for artists that are more established and older, it's nice to showcase for the kids, like future artists and anyone from the area and the local schools. It's Amherst and Villanova that participate. And basically the teachers just choose the pieces they want in the exhibit.
I am standing in the Gibson Gallery, the gallery showcasing young student artists from General Amherst and St. Thomas Villanova High School for the Artists for the Future Round program. For MediaPlex Radio, I am Andy from Gibson Gallery, Amherstburg.
From one artisanal craft to another, Ryan Percy sat down with a local shop owner to talk cheese.
Pass the cheese, please. It's utterly delicious. The Canadian Dairy Commission says their industry is worth almost $6.2 billion. With over 1,000 varieties of cheese offered in Canada, a business in the Windsor-Essex region is highlighting some Canadian cheesy goodness. I have the pleasure of sitting down with Sarah Beret, the owner of the Cheese Bar located in Emeryville, Ontario. So what exactly led to the creation of the Cheese Bar, Sarah?
Came home for a friend's wedding and organized a wine tour with my girlfriends and their mothers, and I realized we didn't have a cheese shop on the wine route. And I thought that was very strange, and I researched and realized we didn't have a cheese shop in Essex County. Thus, the very beginnings of the Cheese Bar.
How do you find Windsor's cheese culture?
It's growing exponentially, I find, and it's mostly word of mouth. People are realizing that low-fat cheeses and no-fat cheeses are not, in fact, at all healthy for you. And supporting local producers and local small businesses has become, there's a resurgence in that as well. And so from both aspects, that's how the cheese industry has really been growing in Essex County, I find.
How does it compare locally versus abroad?
I would say versus abroad, there's certainly more of a cheese culture, especially in Europe, definitely in Australia, a bit in South Africa, but not very much. And these are all countries that I visited and areas. We're definitely on the rise, for sure, and I think that's helping due in part to the United States, which has an incredibly large artisanal cheese scene.
With the growing dairy market, it seems like we have a deliciously cheesy future to look forward to. I'm Ryan Percy, reporting for MediaPlex News Radio.
Let's go over to Matt Flood for This Week in Politics.
Thanks, Barry. This week in politics, Ontario NDP leader Andrea Horwath has been touring southwestern Ontario. Horwath has been pushing her campaign on the promise of a free dental care plan for Ontarians. The latest stop was Thursday in Sarnia. While in Sarnia, Horwath met with Jordan Dettori, a single mother with a 5-year-old. Dettori can't afford a $1,200 root canal. The Dental Care for Everyone plan is designed to cover 4.5 million Ontarians at a cost of $1.2 billion. The plan covers seniors, low-income families, and others without dental coverage. A former Conservative MP has been rejected for his appeal. The Supreme Court denied Dean Del Mastro's request for an appeal to overturn his convictions. Del Mastro was sentenced in 2015 for 3 violations of the Canadian Election Act. He received a month in jail, 4 months of house arrest, 18 months of probation, and can't run for office for 5 years. The Supreme Court did not give reasons for the rejection. 3 Conservative senators went to Washington, D.C. on Wednesday. The senators included Claude Carignan, Pierre Hughes-Boisvenu, and Denise Batters. They made the trip to find answers about how the legislation of marijuana in Canada would affect U.S.-Canada relations, specifically at the borders. According to Senator Boisvenu, the Liberals gave them unsatisfactory answers, so they met with Jeff Sessions and other U.S. federal officials. In the 45-minute meeting, the senators learned those who consume marijuana may be subject to additional inspection and denied entry to the U.S. The senators say Canadians should be worried about crossing the border once marijuana is legalized. Back to you, Barry.
Kylie Turner is here to tell us how a shoebox can make a big impact.
The Windsor Shoebox Project held its first Shoebox Drive in Windsor for International Women's Day. The Shoebox Project collects and distributes gifts in the form of shoeboxes valued at $50. These shoeboxes are given to women who are homeless or close to experiencing homelessness in communities across Canada and the United States. The Windsor Shoebox Project is new to Windsor, thanks to the local coordinator, Farrah Hartwell. Hartwell is also a social work student at St. Clair College.
And we got a lot of attention for it, and we were able to get more than our goal of 18 shoeboxes. We actually got 19, and it was just pretty amazing that through just word of mouth we were able to get so much.
The Welcome Center Shelter for Women and Families was happy to partner with the Windsor Shoebox Project. Kristen Douglas is the Strategic Partnership Manager of the Welcome Center Shelter for Women and Families.
What was most exciting about it was that Farrah was very receptive to the needs of the shelter.
For more information, follow the Windsor Shoebox Project on Facebook. I'm Kylie Turner from MediaPlex News Radio.
With a cold weekend in front of us, Josie Richards is here to tell you about another best flicks on Netflix to curl up to and watch.
Welcome to the Best Flicks on Netflix with your host, Josie Richards. As we get closer to the weekend, I know you all want nothing more than to kick back and relax. And what's a better way to relax than by lying on the couch and binge watching Netflix? That's where I come in. I'll be giving you a weekly recommendation on what I think are the best flicks on Netflix. This week's show is The Devil is a Part-Timer. Even though there is only one season consisting of 13 episodes available on Netflix, it's the kind of show that is so silly that you can watch it over and over again without succumbing to boredom. The Devil is a Part-Timer is a lighthearted anime that features bright, colorful characters and witty banter. The story begins with Satan, the demon lord, attempting to conquer a magical realm called Ente Isla. However, his plans are foiled by the hero Amelia, and he and his right-hand man are forced to retreat through a gate that transports them to modern-day Tokyo. Now, having to live in a world without magic, Satan assumes the persona Sadao Mao and begins working at McRonald's. The Devil's a Part-Timer presents a hilarious view on the most humdrum aspects of everyday life. So here are 3 reasons why you should tune in. 1, it's original. Never have I ever seen a show where the devil's a misunderstood good guy who just wants to work his way up the corporate ladder. 2, it's funny with a capital F. Even though the show was originally written in Japanese, the Netflix dub remains hilarious, with many of the jokes poking fun of the show's storyline. 3, it's relaxing. This show is great for when you come home stressed out from school and just want to engage in some lighthearted fun. And there you have it. Tune into the best flicks on Netflix next week for another recommendation.
If you still didn't get enough Netflix in your life, Jessica Moore has you covered.
On Tuesday night at the Manchester pub, PR students from St. Clair College and MacFlash Entertainment hosted a Game of Thrones themed trivia night. Amber Shear, member of the Public Relations Club, explains the fundraiser and her hopes for the event.
So it's through the Public Relations Club at St. Clair College, and we're looking to raise money for educational trips and other endeavors we're doing in Windsor.
For the trivia portion, a host asked the Game of Thrones themed questions, and teams of 2 to 8 people wrote down their answers to collect points. Josie Richards, who said she is a big fan of Game of Thrones, attended the event and was hoping to lead her team to victory.
So we're here just trying to guess all the right answers. We're kind of struggling, but we're having fun and eating good food.
In case you missed this event, Manchester has been known to have some of the best food and trivia. I'm Jessica Moore from MediaPlex News Now.
Let's give it over to Ferris and Harris with Sports Talk.
Good morning and welcome to Sports Talk with Ferris and Harris. I'm Jordan Ferris.
And I'm Tay Harris.
Well, good morning, everyone. It's been quite some time.
Yeah, it's been a while, eh?
I think we should just hop right into it, Tate. Could it get any better than this? Daniel and Henrik Sedin combined for the overtime winner in last night's game in Vancouver, their last game. Are they the greatest Canucks ever?
I would say so. I mean, Daniel and Henrik both have over 1,000 points. It's a very impressive career. I think a lot of people seem to forget about them while they're out in Vancouver. Unfortunately, they never had a cup, but they played with the same team.
17 years.
Yeah, 17 years, 1,300 games. It's
Crazy.
How can you say they're not the best?
Yeah, right. And they're Hall of Famers too, right? And their numbers will be up. Like I don't see anyone in that organization. Maybe Pavel Bure close, but I just feel the Sedins are purely the best on that team.
Yeah, for sure. And you were telling me something interesting about one of the goals during the game there. In 33 seconds into the second period, Henrik assisted Daniel's 22nd goal. If you didn't know, Henrik is 33 and Daniel is number 22. So that's kind of interesting. Now let's get to our Tiger tracker. Everyone's talking about Tiger Woods. Right now he's 1 over par after playing 18 holes yesterday. Jordan, can Woods make the comeback win everyone's hoping he does?
I feel if there's anybody in the sport who could do it, it's probably Tiger. I don't think his chances are that high. I don't think he'll get that first overall and the Masters win like everyone wants. I think it's Spieth's tournament again. You know, Spieth has been dominant over the last little while, and he came in with the best odds to win, and I don't think you're slowing down Spieth. He's already 6 under through day one. Like he's on fire.
Yeah, it's very impressive, and I mean it's impressive alone that Tiger's even back after multiple back surgeries.
Yeah,
there.
like it looked bad for Tiger, and it's just good to have him back. He's fun for the sport. All right, and former Spitfire is leading the race for the NHL's Hart Trophy. Tate, do you think Taylor Hall deserves all the hype for his Hart Trophy?
My buddy Cody Wall, I keep telling him no, but I think he does. They clinched a playoff spot last night. He's got 93 points in 76 games played. There's a 42-point difference between him and Nico Hischier, his teammate, which is huge. I don't know where he's getting these points. It must be a bunch of unassisted goals or something. It's strange.
You know, for most Hart people say points don't matter, but when you're the only guy scoring and carrying your team in the playoff, these are big points.
Like, yeah, and he's carrying them to the playoffs, so it's very interesting. I feel bad for the Edmonton Oilers fans who aren't going to make the playoffs this year, and their traded player Taylor Hall is now going to be a Hart Trophy winner. Matt Larkin of the Hockey News was actually talking how he's got his vote. He just keeps making it easier. How can you not?
Maybe a couple other guys, but there's no one who's working as hard as Taylor Hall.
Now that's all for sports talk. Come back next week for more Ferris and Harris. It's been a very long time since I've been able to do this. Back to you, Barry.
Thanks for the pun. Curlis Maddie was in the studios to give us 3 Minutes with Best Buddies co-founder Jessica Larkin.
Welcome to 3 Minutes with Jessica Larkin. Jessica is the co-president of Best Buddies. Now, Jessica, could you explain what Best Buddies is and their involvement in the community?
Sure. So Best Buddies is actually an international organization with chapters all over the world. Ooh. We have chapters in Ghana, Germany, all over the world, and we have a couple in Canada. So at the University of Windsor, we have a chapter. Best Buddies is set out to foster friendships with individuals with disabilities and individuals without disabilities. So we pair up with a community partner, which is, in this case, Harmony in Action, which is a day program for adults with disabilities. And we pair up university students with them to try and foster friendships and inclusion where they may not have those opportunities otherwise.
Okay. And how long have you been involved with Best Buddies?
So I have been involved with Best Buddies for 2 years now. Last year I was on the executive team as the program development assistant, and this year I am co-president.
Okay. And tell me a little bit about your experience and the involvement in Best Buddies.
So Best Buddies has been fantastic because unlike other clubs on campus, it's very unique in that we aren't seclusive to like one faculty. We offer the program to anybody. So there's other clubs that you have to be in all one faculty, whereas we offer it to anybody who is willing to get involved. And it's been fantastic, you know, people who have never worked with people with disabilities or maybe even had a little bit of fear of working with people with disabilities, they've kind of been flexible and got to know these people, and it's really been life-changing for them. We have all sorts of people. We have international students who come and are just looking to, you know, expand their participation on campus. So it's been fantastic.
Okay, and how many people volunteer to be a part of Best Buddies?
So we had 120 interviews. We retained about 90 of them, and out of those we have general members. We also have pairs, so we have about 25 pairs, so 50 people in total.
And you just recently had your 4th annual gala. What is the gala for?
So the gala is for promoting community inclusion and just letting everyone know what we're doing. So we invite all of the participants in Best Buddies, but we also reach out to other day programs and other individuals in our community with disabilities. We had a lot of sponsors from the community that got to come in and see what we do. So we put on a gala and everyone got to dance. We had a nice dinner, some speeches and awards. So it was great.
Okay, and what is the best part about being involved with Best Buddies?
The best part about being involved with Best Buddies is that I get to be a mentor. I get to use my previous education. I took my DSW at St. Clair College, so getting to teach other people about how to interact with people with disabilities, and then just seeing that outcome of like genuine friendships developing.
All right, thank you for tuning in. This has been 3 Minutes with Jessica Larkin.
Now let's look over at the absurd and unbelievable with Xander Kelly's Weird News.
Thanks, Barry. Let's dive right in, shall we? A Chinese woman is in trouble with her employer for becoming pregnant before her turn. The woman was working at a private childcare center in North Japan when she found out that she was pregnant. However, the timing reportedly clashed with shifts drawn by the childcare center director, who listed when female staff were allowed to marry and have children. The couple formally met with the director to apologize about the pregnancy, but the husband claims that his wife has been chided for selfishly breaking the rules of the childcare center. This is serious business, folks. A Florida man has died after consuming 7 grams of cocaine during a traffic stop Monday morning. The unidentified man is reported to have eaten the cocaine, admitted his fault when sick in jail, and died the same day, presumably from eating 7 grams of cocaine. Cocaine is also serious business, folks. Lastly, an Australian man is recovering after taking a knife in the back, but he didn't call police until after another pint. The alleged fight broke out between the 27-year-old man and another man aged 20 at the Sunshine Coast's Beerwah Hotel, before the pair were kicked down the road where the fight continued. The older man was then allegedly stabbed in the back, and instead of going to the hospital, he returned to the pub and kept drinking with the knife lodged in his back. He soon called police and was transported to the hospital and is now in stable condition. That's all for today. Back to you, Barry.
Well, thank you for tuning in. Friday Live is a presentation of St. Clair College Journalism. Our production team consists of Xander Kelly and Ryan Percy. This week, we had contributions from Jessica Moore, Curlis Maddie, Jordan Ferris, Tate Harris, Ryan Percy, Josie Sia, Kylie Turner, Miriam Farag, Alyssa Horobin, Bella Antonio, Cade Ryan, MD Naruzaman, Grace Bauer, and Xander Kelly. I'm Barry Hazelhurst. Have a great weekend.